US President Donald Trump has announced the reinstatement of a naval blockade on Iranian ports while declaring unilateral control of the Strait of Hormuz and forcing a 20% charge on cargo ships. The Hungarian parliament removes President Tamás Suljuk from office by approving the 17th amendment to the constitution with an overwhelming majority. Suljuk now has 5 days to comply.
European Commission President has called for stronger protections for children online, supporting introducing a minimum age for access to social media.
US President Donald Trump has announced the immediate reinstatement of a strict naval blockade on Iranian ports while declaring that the United States will take unilateral control of the Strait of Hormuz and force a 20% charge on all transiting cargo. Trump asserted that the US military would from now on act as the sole guardian of the volatile gateway, demanding reimbursement from international shipping for the massive operational costs of securing the global energy route. The high-stakes maritime standoff escalated after US Central Command deployed advanced maritime combat drones for the first time, utilizing 3 unmanned surface vessels to strike an Iranian submarine and a maintenance base at Bandar Abbas. In immediate retaliation for these strikes, Iran's Revolutionary Guard launched heavy missile and drone salvos against US assets in Bahrain, Jordan, Kuwait and Oman, with Gulf air defenses actively intercepting multiple incoming projectiles. A joint statement has been issued by European countries, including Britain, France and Germany, condemning Tehran's attacks, while London announced plans to officially designate the Revolutionary Guard as a national security threat. The rapid escalation has pushed the critical June framework agreement to the brink of collapse, leaving international mediators scrambling to salvage the truce as crude oil prices surge amid threat of a renewed all-out war. The Hungarian parliament has approved the 17th amendment to the constitution, which allows for the removal of President Tamás Suljuk. 139 members of parliament voted in favor, 6 against, and 54 did not vote. Fidesz and the Christian Democratic People's Party, KDNP, protested the move and boycotted the National Assembly session. Among the opposition, only the representatives of the far-right Mi Hazang party voted. Prime Minister Péter Magyar argued that it would be a betrayal of the Hungarian nation not to amend the Fidesz-drafted constitution, which he described as the founding document of the organized crime structure built by Fidesz and KDNP. As justification for removing the President of the Republic, he gave the lengthy list of issues on which Tamás Suljuk had remained silent. For example, even when it became clear that police proceedings and Secret Service surveillance had been launched against the Tisza party's IT specialists on fabricated charges.
Akkor kellett volna megvédenie az alkotmányosságot, amikor annak egyik legfontosabb alapja került veszélybe. Az a szabály, hogy a titkosszolgálat a magyar államot védi, és soha nem válhat a kormányzó párt
The constitutional amendment also stipulates that members of parliament may serve only for a maximum of 12 years. After the vote, Gerger Ligulias resigned as Fidesz parliamentary group leader so that a politician eligible to run in the next election could lead the group. Last week, Fidesz organized a protest in front of the Sándor Palace against the amendment and the removal of Tamás Suljuk under the slogan "Stop Autocracy."
Suljuk Tamás köztársasági elnöknek 5 napja lesz arra, hogy aláírja az alaptörvénymódosítást. Ha ezt nem teszi meg, az országgyűlés megindítja ellene a megfosztási eljárást. Ezután az alaptörvény szerint már nem gyakorolhatja az államfő a jogköreit. Az országgyűlés elnöke írhatja alá akkor a jogszabályt. Kis Gábor, Euronews, Budapest.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen has called for stronger protections for children online, saying the evidence presented on Monday by the Special Panel on Child Safety Online should help shape future European policy. Von der Leyen said the evidence increasingly supported introducing a minimum age for access to social media and suggested a phased approach for different age groups. She said the argument to ban toddlers from screens and digital platforms and that children under 13 should only be allowed to use social media under adult supervision was the most convincing. Social media is not a toy, von der Leyen stressed.
The status quo, a world where we continue to allow big tech unrestricted access to our children, will only consign another generation to more mental harm, addiction and misery.
According to data from the research, young people spent between 4 and 6 hours a day on screens, while almost 60% of young children have experienced emotional or psychosocial problems online. Von der Leyen also argued that technology companies, rather than parents or children, should bear responsibility for making online platforms safe, as they have a duty of care to their users. The report identified services that contain age-inappropriate features, such as infinite scrolling, autoplay and persistent notifications, describing them as social media plus.
Auf der Basis der vorliegenden Evidenz empfehlen wir deshalb die EU-weite harmonisierte Einführung einer Zugangsbeschränkung zu Social Media Plus für Kinder unter 13 Jahren.
The Commission will review the panel's recommendations before presenting legislative proposals after the summer.
At least 27 people have died and dozens were injured after a huge fire broke out in a Bangkok bar on Sunday. People ran screaming out of the venue as flames shot out of the entrance, several with their clothing burned or ablaze. 10 of the victims have been identified so far, 9 of them Thai nationals and 1 from Laos. 2 members of a band performing at the bar were among those who died, according to one band member who survived.
เราก็ใช้ผ้าครับใช้ผ้าเนี่ยตบให้ไฟมันดับคือเราช่วยมากกว่านี้ไม่ได้เพราะมันมีคนทยอยแบบดันกันออกมาเรื่อยๆแล้วทีนี้ไฟมันพุ่งออกมาเยอะเราก็ไม่สามารถจะเข้าไปช่วยได้แล้วถึงอุ้มออกมา
Forensic police began working on Monday in the gutted venue, its windows blown out, as investigators sought to establish what caused the fire and why it was so deadly.
ผู้เสียชีวิตส่วนใหญ่จะอยู่ในห้องน้ำชายและหญิงดังนั้นเมื่อเกิดเหตุเนี่ยด้วยอาการตื่นตระหนกแล้วก็ไม่รู้ว่าจะไปทางไหนเนี่ยแล้วไฟดับเนี่ยก็วิ่งเข้าห้องน้ำอาจจะไปหาทางพื้นที่ที่ออกได้หรือไปหาน้ำนะครับ
It was the deadliest fire in Thailand since a blaze tore through Bangkok's Santika Club during New Year celebrations in 2009, killing 67 people and injuring more than 200.
The death toll from the devastating twin earthquakes that struck Venezuela almost 20 days ago rose to nearly 4,500 on Sunday. The government reported more than 19,500 people were living in camps due to the destruction. At the end of June, 2 earthquakes with a magnitude 7.2 and 7.5 struck Caracas in the coastal state of La Guaira. The quakes destroyed or completely flattened entire high-rise apartment buildings, leaving many displaced and without a home. The government said it would start providing some apartments to families in the coming days that were under construction before the quake, but said that significant resources will be needed to build more and provide rental and property assistance. Meanwhile, many Venezuelans continue to search for relatives buried under the rubble. While more and more machinery has become available to help the search and rescue efforts, many argue that there is still insufficient government assistance for families searching for bodies.
La verdad es que sí es una inversión bastante fuerte comprar las estampitas y entonces creo que poder estar con muchísimas personas que tenemos el mismo fin, creo que reduce la parte económica, también propicia pasar un momento en familia y sobre todo pues a poder llenar el álbum, ¿no? Que es lo principal.
O sea que es un éxito, es algo que rompe récord y que Fono es parte de eso, pues es algo especial.
pues disfrutar, si se llena, si no se llena, ya es muy aparte, la verdad, disfrutar la convivencia, disfrutar las actividades y el ambiente.
C'est vraiment à l'initiative de Margiela qui a décidé qu'il était temps pour lui, probablement que ces objets soient dans d'autres mains, dans d'autres institutions et en fait soient vus par le plus grand nombre de personnes possible. C'est une initiative vraiment très personnelle. Il a 69 ans, il n'a pas d'héritier et d'une certaine manière, en organisant cette vente, il organise son propre héritage en mettant en compétition tous les acheteurs potentiels qui pourraient être intéressés. Là, vous avez en fait dans la vente 3 Barbies. La Barbie, c'est quelque chose que Martin a vraiment utilisé depuis qu'il est enfant. Son père était coiffeur et en fait il s'amusait avec les Barbies pour leur faire des coiffures, des maquillages.